Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome to Fantasy Plus. I'm thankful to have Phil Pinarski joining me.
I'm thankful to be here, Aaron.
Yes, we've got a lot to be thankful for. We've got 4 games before Sunday this week. Phil, pretty good week for you.
Yes, fantasy-wise at least. I think, as we obviously approach the holidays and it is time to give thanks to all the great things in our lives. And I've got to say the Houston Texans defense, something I'm very thankful for. And also Kyron Williams, he's been great for me. He had a little bit of a down week last week, but again, just in general, I'm very happy for him. He's been great for me on this winning streak I've been on.
Yes, you're the hottest team in the league, in the work league.
Let's go that far.
Yeah, well, let's put it there.
Right.
You're not the New England Patriots of the NFL, but you're one of the hot teams.
Right.
I went 1 for 3 this last weekend with a tough loss to Gavin. So congrats to Gavin on his win. We'll get to all of that at the end of the show, but right now let's just jump right into it. Why don't we? Thursday night.
Big game.
Big game. Packers, Lions. This is the 1 o'clock game on Fox. We get 3 games on Thursday. Detroit's favored by 2.5. This is actually, Detroit's going to play Thursday this week, and then they'll play Thursday again next week against Dallas. And then also Christmas Day Thursday. So they've got multiple Thursday games.
Right.
What are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, I'm hoping they can maybe start building up, the Lions, I should say, should hopefully start building up some momentum for these Thursday games, kind of get used to the flow of practice with maybe some of these shorter weeks, or I guess, if you're playing next Thursday, you do have a full week. But again, just kind of, it's a little bit different getting ready for a Thursday night game than maybe a Sunday game right at 1 o'clock. So again, hopefully they're starting to build that up a little bit and obviously trying to get some revenge on the Packers. Again, that first game, everybody, Lions fans across Michigan, I'm sure, were really worried watching Micah Parsons and the Packers kind of have their way with the Lions. I think hopefully they are able to kind of right the ship, get a little bit of revenge, and again, start building up that momentum to get back in the NFC North conversation.
I think Lions and Jahmyr Gibbs are a force to be reckoned with this season, and I think they're going to put that on display on Thursday. Second game, Chiefs-Cowboys. When they scheduled this at the beginning of the season, they probably thought, oh, cool, 2 teams. These are 2 teams that are definitely need a win here.
Right.
You've got Kansas City 6-5, Dallas 5-5-1. This is the 4:30 game on CBS. Kansas City favored by 3.
Yeah, I really like Kansas City in this game. Obviously, kind of getting that huge win against the Colts last week was major for their season to kind of save them and at least keep them afloat for now. I don't know if they're still in the spot that they want to be in to make that playoff push, but you got to win this game against Dallas. And Dallas, on the other hand, coming off probably an even bigger win last week against the Eagles when they were down 21-0 and were still able to come back. That Quinnen Williams addition, huge for Dallas. So again, really like that. Yeah. Again, another pretty great game. This Thursday slate is really great for us this year.
It's a great slate. I picked up Dak because he dropped on the waivers. I didn't start him last week, and you can probably guess my team didn't turn out well. I probably wouldn't have won either way, but still, Dak and the late night heroics looking to be on display. In Kansas City, their defense is no joke. They've been shut down. They shut down the Colts last week, and Jonathan Taylor. So I don't know about any running backs in that game.
No. Probably best to avoid those.
Anybody else in this game you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, my only worry is obviously if you have CD Lamb, Dak Prescott, George Pickens, you're probably playing all 3 of those guys. But we've seen with CD Lamb in particular, he's been kind of susceptible to drops this year. A little bit of kind of what we've been seeing with Amon-Ra St. Brown with the Lions as well. So I'm not too worried, like to the point that I wouldn't start him. But again, these are the weeks when you're playing some of your top guys against some of these better defenses where you can't be too reliant on them. You should be maybe looking at the rest of your roster right now and maybe deciding, okay, maybe I should swing maybe a little bit more for the fences with my flex or maybe my other wide receiver or my running back or something like that, because you shouldn't be too reliant. You should not expect a 25-point performance out of CeeDee Lamb probably this week.
Right. We had the NFC North battle. We have an AFC North battle.
Yes.
The third game of the night. Bengals, Ravens. Looks like Joe Burrow is going to be back for this one. Classic AFC North slug match on NBC. This is the 8:20 game. Cincinnati 3-8, trying to keep their season alive, if you can really think of it that way. And the Ravens have been on a run here. They're 6-5 now.
Right.
This is the 8:20 game on NBC.
Yeah, I mean, if Joe Burrow's playing, definitely start all of your Bengals because he just brings that extra level to this Bengals offense. I mean, we've seen Joe Flacco put up some pretty decent numbers in some performances. Joe Burrow is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. He's obviously going to propel that offense a little bit forward. And, Baltimore's defense has looked better, but I was actually kind of doing a little bit of research, just looking at some of the teams that they've played during this 5-game winning streak that they're on. I mean, currently, 4 of those 5 teams that they played are at the bottom of the league as far as offensive ratings go. The 29th, 26th, 25th, and 24th rated offenses in the league. So again, I'm a little worried as far as maybe believing that the Ravens defense is back to maybe what we're accustomed to. So again, I think if Joe Burrow's playing, we could see some fireworks with this game too.
And we don't have a weather segment for this holiday edition of the Fantasy Plus, but I do have a report from Storm teammate Blake says it's going to be mostly dry and cold in this one, so no weather impacts on that one.
The other 2 games are in domes, so no need to worry about those either.
Exactly. We get a 4th game before Sunday, the Black Friday game, Bears Eagles on Prime, 3 in the afternoon on Friday. Chicago's 8-3, Philadelphia 8-3. We've got division leaders clashing here.
Right.
Some potential fantasy gold here, Phil.
Yeah, really like what the Bears have been doing. As much as we want to see the Lions maybe even in that top position, I mean, the Bears have been playing really well under Ben Johnson. But I got to tell you, I'm a little worried about that offense against the Eagles. Not only has the Eagles defense been the best in the league, they've been stopping everybody. They stopped the Lions. They stopped the Packers. Obviously they had that fault last week against Dallas. But I mean, after a loss, do you not think that they're going to be hungrier to maybe prove that they are a top team? Really worried about the Chicago Bears in this one. Would not be surprised if it got ugly very quickly in this one.
Philadelphia favored by 7.
Yes.
The weather note I got was dry and cold for this one, so shouldn't be worrying about the weather too much in that one.
Right.
We start the Sunday 1 o'clock slate with the 49ers 8-4 taking on the Browns 3-8. We've got the last round quarterback versus the 5th round quarterback. Purdy versus Shadur.
Yeah.
The weather note on this one is possible rain-snow mix. Could be heavy in Cleveland. This is a 1 o'clock Sunday game. San Francisco favored by 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, I said last week I could totally see Shadur Sanders having a breakout game against the Raiders, but that was against the Raiders. This is against the 49ers. A little bit better of a competition, I would think, but they actually give up the most passing yards in the league, actually. So that's kind of surprising. I would still, I'm still rocking with Shadur. I really like that addition, and I think, if you've got him on your team, wouldn't hurt to maybe play him. I've got the tight ends, Harold Fannin and David Njoku maybe haven't built that super great connection with him yet, but I think this would be the game to do it. So I like them. I like the tight ends. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, for the 49ers side of things, but that's who I'm looking at for that matchup.
Definitely Quinshon Judkins and what he did. They brought him in. They took Sanders out. They did goal line carries for him in the old formation.
And we just got news, Aaron.
Oh.
Actually, breaking news from Adam Schefter. Bengals have officially activated Joe Burrow for Thursday night's game.
There you go.
So now it's been... All right, well, let's go back to that game real quick. I'm definitely saying start T. Higgins, you're starting Jamar Chase, and if you've got Joe Burrow, if you've kept on to him, or maybe he's on the waiver wires, I would go ahead and start him. I think this is going to be that game for the Bengals to really, really break out. It's going to be kind of like a reunion of sorts.
Right, but great news for fantasy owners.
Yes.
And having Jamar Chase out for 1 week was a tough one.
Yes.
Okay, back to the schedule. We've got, next up, we've got Jacksonville and Tennessee. You've got... 2 number 1 overall picks. You got Cam Ward and Trevor Lawrence battling AFC South. It's a division battle. Jacksonville's favored by 6.5 on this one.
Yeah, I don't think I've picked a single Titans player to have a really good week because they are kind of one of the bottom teams of the league. Just the personnel that they have. I mean, there's not one guy that week in and week out is going to be doing anything. As far as Jacksonville goes, I really like Travis Etienne. He's been putting together a couple of really solid weeks back to back to back, especially with Trevor Lawrence being kind of inconsistent and that being a major talking point right now. Wouldn't be surprised if he kind of dominated the Titans and had a better game, but as far as people I can kind of guarantee will have a good week, Travis Etienne in that one.
I'd say start your normal Jaguars that you'd be starting. Cam Ward had a nice game against the Seahawks last week. He ran a little bit, threw a little bit, so we'll see what happens there.
Right.
Another AFC South battle next. Houston, Indianapolis. Indianapolis coming off a couple tough games. Lost last week to the Chiefs. Houston's on the rise. They've got that great defense you mentioned earlier.
Right.
Houston 6-5. Indianapolis 8-3. Indianapolis favored by 4.5 at home. Stroud is a question mark with the concussion. He might be back.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel, though, about him coming back because Davis Mills has played really well on this 3-game winning streak that they're on right now. And again, that defense is crazy legit. Is this the second week in a row that the Colts kind of take a loss? They were riding high all season long. Do they take a step back? Does that loss to Kansas City kind of play into this? I'm a little worried about anybody in particular to start. Daniel Jones has had a good year. Jonathan Taylor still an MVP front runner. But again, against that Houston Texans defense, I don't know. Again, another guy that you want to start, you're going to end up starting him because he is so great, but another guy you probably don't want to rely too heavily on in this one.
Yeah, downgrade Jonathan Taylor here. You're still starting him, obviously, and at least it's indoor, so you don't have to worry about any weather.
Exactly, yes.
Next up, New Orleans 2-9, Miami 4-7. A game you're probably not going to want to watch.
No.
Just find out how your fantasy players did in this one.
Yeah.
Miami favored by 6. Miami, this is 2 straight wins since Jack said that they were dead, and he wrote them off. There's some fantasy assets here.
Yeah, I suppose, I'm looking at a couple of guys, but I'm staying away from this game totally. I mean, I know Miami is on that 2-game winning streak right now, and they look like they're maybe still in the hunt for a possible wild card berth maybe, but again, there's nobody really jumping out to me. The Saints defense is as bad as it is, but again, I don't know anybody on the Dolphins that I would say is guaranteed to get all the touches, all the yards, all the touchdowns, all the points.
Another possible stinker here. We've got the backup bowl, Atlanta, New York. Kirk Cousins versus Tyrod Taylor. Atlanta 4-7. The Jets 2-9. This is a weather note. Possible rain, could be heavy. So maybe not a good game for the pass catchers. And this one definitely a Breece Hall game for me.
Right.
Atlanta favored by 2.5.
Yeah, no, and Atlanta is going to be probably without Drake May as well. And Kirk Cousins, he looked solid last week, but again, there are still questions about it. I mean, you got to think there was a reason he wasn't playing over Michael Penix, and Michael Penix had his year, and he's done for the year now. So again, question marks remain. Yeah, I would start Breece Hall. That's probably one of the main guys I would take out of this one as well. But again, that Jets defense, another one. They traded Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, who's left on that defense right now. So Atlanta could have a field day as well.
I know you meant Drake London, not Drake May.
Yes, that's what I meant, yes.
Sorry, Drake May is on all of our minds right now. We'll get to him in a minute.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett versus a questionable quarterback on the Tampa Bay side. Arizona 3-8. Tampa Bay 6-5. Tampa Bay favored by 3. I don't know if that's assuming Baker plays. If Baker doesn't play because of the shoulder, Teddy Bridgewater would be playing.
Right. A whole different offensive feel with that. Yeah, totally dependent on Baker if you want to go with any of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers players. And again, I'm even a little worried because even if he does play, how bad is that injury? How is that going to affect him? And the Cardinals defense, the passing defense at least, is not terrible. So again, something to keep an eye on. Jacoby Brissett, though, has been playing pretty well, at least pretty decently, filling in for Kyler Murray. I mean, he got me 20 points last week, and you take that from a backup quarterback any day.
Absolutely. And he's making Michael Wilson a star.
Right.
Although he's been in because Harrison's been out. So we'll see how that continues. Last game in the 1 o'clock window, the Rams, 6 straight wins, 9-2, taking on the Carolina Panthers, coming off that tough loss, Monday Night Football, to the 49ers. Carolina 6-6, back-to-back weeks against the NFC juggernauts. The Rams have one of the highest lines of the week. They're favored by 10.5.
Wow.
On the road.
Yeah, that's kind of
crazy.
Going
West Coast to East Coast for this 1 o'clock game.
Right.
But lots of potential fantasy impacts, and Carolina lost some secondary during that Monday night game. So we might have some points here.
Yeah, Trayvon Mooring's going to be out that game after getting into a fight on Monday night with Juwan Jennings. So, again, I really like Devontae Adams to kind of fill in that and have a really great game. That connection with Matthew Stafford is getting better and better each week. Outside of maybe Houston and New England, the Rams defense is probably the only other defense I would say you should be playing right now. If you do have them or you can get them, they are probably going to have a really solid game against this Carolina offense that just doesn't really know what it wants to be. Again, no real serious pass catchers for Bryce Young, or Rico Dowdle has kind of, had a great year, and not many people probably expected that, but he's kind of, defense are starting to figure that out a little bit. So yeah, if I own the Rams defense, I'm definitely playing them, and I'm banking on them to have a big week.
Yeah, I would be very careful with any of your Carolina Panthers players going against the Rams.
Right.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with the rest of the Sunday slate and talk about the league. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, Fantasy Plus. It's a Thanksgiving holiday edition. Just myself and Phil here. We're working our way through the schedule. The first segment, we talked about all the games on Thursday and Friday, the first half of the games on Sunday. Now let's take a look at the afternoon on Sunday. Minnesota, Seattle, it's a big one, at least for my fan base. Darnold welcomes back his former team.
Right.
See if he's a good host. Minnesota 4-7, 3 straight losses. Seattle 8-3. Seattle also favored by 10.5, the 2 highest lines of the week. This is in Seattle. This is 4.05.
Yeah, I expect Sam Darnold to want to get a lot of revenge, and that could be a really good thing in the fact that if you have him, he could be throwing a lot of touchdowns, throwing a lot of passes in general, but it could also mean that maybe he's trying a little bit too hard and might be susceptible to a mistake here and there. Minnesota's defense, though, pretty decent against the pass, so wouldn't be surprised if maybe Seattle tries to jump out a little bit ahead and then kind of rely on the run game to just bleed out the clock, put this game away. I picked Kenneth Walker last week to have a kind of big breakout game. Turned out to be Charbonnet, so I'm going to go with Charbonnet this week is probably the running back for Seattle you want to start.
But Walker did look good, just to cover you for your call. He did. Right. He did look good. He just didn't.
I wasn't completely wrong, right?
Yeah, he didn't fill up the stat sheet. But
exactly.
He looked good. I would also take the Seahawks defense if you have them, or somehow they're available in your league.
Yeah.
Pick up the Seahawks defense because Minnesota's offensive line is struggling. JJ McCarthy is struggling. And I would definitely go there. So go Hawks.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you're probably going to play Justin Jefferson. But again, with how that offense is going, another guy, don't expect 20 points. Expect maybe 10 or 15 even. But other than that, I mean, it's just a really shaky situation in Minnesota right now.
Against a tough defense. All right, next up, Josh Allen versus maybe Aaron Rodgers. Buffalo 7-4, Pittsburgh 6-5. Pittsburgh coming off the loss. They get to be at home. The weather report from Blake says possible heavy snow in this one.
Interesting.
Pittsburgh in the afternoon. Buffalo favored by 3.5. Josh Allen's used to playing in snow. Rodgers is questionable, though, with that wrist. He didn't play last week. We'll see if he actually plays this week.
Right. Yeah, I would say the Bills, thankfully, are used to playing in some of these harsher conditions, so you don't have to worry too much about, the weather's going to play a role, maybe in the passing game. I feel like Josh Allen is going to have a much better game, a bounce-back game against this Steelers defense that actually gives up like 30th most passing yards per game this season so far, so I think Josh Allen's going to have a big game. James Cook should have a big game. Nobody on the Steelers is, again, jumping out to me that you should be thinking about starting. If Aaron Rodgers does play, it kind of changes things maybe a little bit, but as far as how that defense is, or how that offense is going to perform against Buffalo with the snow and with issues with the team kind of in the playoffs and how they're going to be making it into that, I would not be surprised if Buffalo kind of walks away with this one.
I would be careful in this game with any Buffalo wide receiver. I mean, we've already seen it this year that Buffalo wide receivers are not reliable for Josh, especially with Dalton Kincaid out.
Yes.
And in the snow, it's often harder to catch balls. So I would definitely rely on your running backs this week, Buffalo and Pittsburgh running backs. All right, moving on, Phil, to your Vegas Raiders, 2-9, 5 straight losses. And they get to face the Los Angeles Chargers, division foe, 7-4. Chargers coming off the bye, but they lost before the bye, 2-9 versus 7-4. This is Chargers 9.5-point favorites in this one. They're the second largest line of the week.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Herbert was injured in that last game, or at least suffered some form of injury. Thankfully, he got that bye week though. Expect him to play in this one. Don't know how that's going to impact it, but again, the questions surrounding the Raiders is they fired their offensive coordinator Chip Kelly. Are they going to be maybe on the rebound now? Maybe the offense expands a little bit more. I don't think that's the case, especially against the Chargers defense. They kind of rely on their defense to get to where they're at right now. Maybe you play Genty, maybe Brock Bowers, but again, two guys that I wouldn't be, if you didn't play them, I don't think you're really going to miss them. I don't think either of them are going to have really good games in this one.
We've got one more game on Sunday. That's Denver and Washington. Denver 9-2, Washington 3-8. Daniels not expected to play. Jaden Daniels, quarterback for Washington. That means we're going to have two former Ducks, Bo Nix versus Marcus Mariota. Weather report is heavy rain likely, so watch out for that. Denver's favored by 6.5. Not only is Jaden Daniels not expected to play, Terry McLaurin is questionable. He's been out since week 8. He's missed 7 games total.
Yeah, again, probably best to avoid almost everybody in this, except for Denver's defense. If you've got it, I think they should kind of single-handedly end this game with Washington and just kind of where they have been at offensively. RJ Harvey, though, maybe if you pick him up, he could have a big game with it with the rain and all the weather kind of going on. He might be due for a big game. And maybe Bo Nix on the ground could get you a couple of points. I don't know. Nobody's jumping out with this one either.
I'm definitely starting RJ Harvey in one league, so looking forward to that.
This game was definitely picked in the offseason before all the injuries happened, and we kind of knew where these teams would be.
Because it would have been Jaden Daniels versus Bo Nix.
Exactly.
They followed each other in the draft.
Commanders maybe have a better record, maybe in playoff contention, could be a big game for the two of them. Just kind of unfortunate how it ended.
Now, the last game, because you had Drake May on the lips.
Yes,
so
exactly.
The last game, the Giants and the Patriots. Giants 2-10. They're the first team eliminated from the playoffs, so they're just playing for fun at this point. Dart is questionable with the concussion he missed last week. The Giants are 2-10. New England has the opposite record, 10-2. This is the Monday night game on ESPN. New England favored by 7.5.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, we've been talking about him, Drake May. He's having a great year. I think he's going to have a huge game, probably his best game. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, but if I was, I think he's due for one of his biggest games, if not the biggest game of the season for him. New York played well. They played very well against Detroit last week, but I think they that was as good as it was going to get for them. I think knowing that they still lost that game despite all the trick plays, all the fun that they were having on the field, Jameis Winston having a pretty solid game, both passing and also catching. So I think they kind of, that's who they were going to be. I still think all the fun could still be had for the Giants this year, but I think after what happened last week against Detroit and still coming out with a loss, kind of demoralizing. I expect the Patriots to really roll in this one. Ramondre Stevenson probably also having a big game.
So if you're like me and you've got Jackson Dart, pick up Jameis Winston if he's available, and then you could wait till Monday night. Otherwise, you better have a backup plan because if Jackson Dart is questionable, there's not another game after that. So you better have some other plan going into the weekend as a possible start if Jackson Dart is indeed not going to play 2 games in a row for a team that's been eliminated from the playoffs. So we'll see.
And that's a good point to also mention, the fact that it is Thanksgiving. There's a million things going on. You want to watch football, spend time with the family, obviously eat. Make sure you get your lineup set as soon as you can. If you can do it tonight, you don't have anybody that you're watching on the waiver wires, or maybe you don't have anybody on who's been injured and questionable for the game. If you're lucky enough to not have any of those issues, set your lineup tonight and just forget about it, and be able to enjoy the holiday a little bit.
Especially with those 4 games, Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
You might forget, so check it before Thursday at 1 o'clock, and then you'll be set, or at least have a plan in place. If you've got somebody that's not, questionable, or maybe you got Rodgers or Daniels or whoever that's questionable, or even Baker Mayfield, have a backup option in that 4 o'clock window, other than Baker, unless you want to pick up Teddy Bridgewater. I don't.
I don't know if you do, but
he's a good backup listener,
right?
From what we've seen. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we'll check in on the league. right, welcome back to Fantasy Plus. Just to mention real quick, popping up the schedule. You don't see any here, which is great. We don't have any bye weeks, so we can be thankful for that this Thanksgiving. Next week, there are 4 teams on a bye. It's the last bye weeks of the season, so think ahead as you're planning. New England's on a bye, the Giants are on a bye, the 49ers are on a bye, and the Panthers are on a bye next week. So remember that. I just wanted to put that in there.
This week might be the week to actually go and start figuring out who's going to get dropped, because with everybody playing this week, I mean, you probably have other people in your league picking up guys right now, or maybe dropping some other players that they had maybe picked up later on because everybody's playing this week. So again, just best to just check everything, cover all your bases.
Or if you're on the trajectory like you are, Phil, in our league, which that's a good transition. Look at the defenses going forward. Maybe there's a defense you can pick up because, week 15, 16, or 17 in the playoffs, maybe there's a good matchup for you. Speaking of our league, Brad got a close win over Cam.
Those are always the toughest.
Yeah, the 2
It's one thing to get blown out, but always those close ones when it's just like you could have, one guy maybe got an extra catch, or maybe if you just started somebody else.
Yeah, I the second game there, I lost to.
I mean, even that one.
To Gavin by enough points that it didn't matter that, it wasn't like the one player.
Right.
Because I didn't play the Browns defense in this league. I played the Browns defense in a different league, and I forgot to change them in this league. I know, no excuses, right? But at least I lost by enough that it didn't matter who I started. Dan Nichols gets back on the win streak. Mike, tough loss, 114 points, and still walking away with a loss, despite the Jahmyr Gibbs 52-point game.
I was wondering who had Jahmyr Gibbs in our league, and now I'm realizing it. Almost 53 points.
Yeah.
That still seems kind of low for what he did for the Lions on Sunday.
Depending on the scoring in your league.
Right.
Second page was where we find Phil. First up, Jack suffered another loss. He's down to 2-10. He's been eliminated from the playoffs. Laney bounces back with a win. Phil, you get your win over Alec, who's not here.
I know. 6 in a row. Yeah, no, again, really close game. But again, 6 in a row. Just saying. We got inching closer. You see, Jacoby Brissett was my top scorer last week. And again, he was a waiver wire pick. So you can find some really great players still available.
And then the last one is Matt. Gets a loss on Brian.
Definitely needed that.
Those are 2 teams at the tops of their division. Matt needed that win to give him some space at the top of the standings. Phil, you've clinched a spot. That's what the X's mean, if you can see on the left-hand side there. So Dan's clinched a spot. Brian's clinched a spot.
Avoided relegation.
You've avoided relegation.
That was my big thing.
Jack's worried about it. Oh, yeah, you're in the playoffs. You don't have to worry. Matt's in the playoffs. He's leading the division in the West. I'm trying to make a comeback. I've got a couple teams to leapfrog. That's where things stand. The top scoring team so far: Brian Sterling, Dan Nichols, Brad, Matt, yourself, Phil, and then me. All but 2 of us have clinched a playoff spot. So Brad and myself are the 2 of the top 6 scoring teams haven't clinched.
I feel like when you and Brad kind of get those big performances, you are also going up against other teams who had big performances too.
That sucks, yeah.
Yeah.
So 4 teams have clinched. There's 2 playoff spots left. Phil, you've won 6 in a row. Dan's won 2 in a row. Gavin's won 2 in a row to move up to second place right behind Matt. So they're knocking on the door there. Here we go. We've got 2 weeks left. 2 weeks left in the regular season. I'm taking on Cam, who had the tough loss against Brad. Gavin plays Dan, so that's a tough matchup there. And then Jack's facing Mike, 2 former winners, struggling. Page 2, there we go. Laney, Phil.
I'm pretty sure Laney beat me the last time we played each other. So
this will be a
revenge game for me.
Tough division matchup. Hopefully you can get your 7th win in a row.
Right. 7 wins I'm on 6 wins in a row. I'm still 3rd in our division. So.
It's
tough break there.
Right, between Brian and Dan ahead of you. Speaking of Brian, he's playing Alex, so maybe you'll get some on-air rivalry going there. And then Matt gets to play the boss. Does he give him a nice Thanksgiving, or does he give him a tough loss? We'll see. Wanted to mention real quick, if you have questions, hit us up on Fantasy. If you're wondering where we're at, we're going to be taking 2 weeks off for Christmas, so we'll have updates there. You can find us on Fantasy FB Plus on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it these days. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes.
Phil, thanks for joining us. Everybody, thanks for watching. Have a happy Thanksgiving and good luck on your weeks. Don't forget, we've got 3 Thursday games, a Friday game, and then all the Sunday games. So good luck. We'll see ya.